Welcome to Live with Kat and Dawn. Thanks for coming back. This week, we're just going to chat a little bit and tell you about what we've been up to, what we do. And I can't wait to share it with you because I have started a new program, a new exercise program, and it's kicking my butt a little bit. But it's thanks to this lady here. It's Dawn's 7-day program. Why don't you tell people about it?
Well, thanks, Kat. I'm happy that it's kind of kicking your butt a little bit. Obviously, if we don't challenge ourselves at all, we stay the same, and most of us aren't happy where we are. So, the idea when I created the 7-minute Ageless Body Secret is because number one, I own a gym. Number two, I have coached women for 30 plus years into transforming the way they think about diet and exercise. I don't even like the word diet. And most women, when they think of exercise, they think of losing weight. So they think of cardio. So my idea with the 7-minute Ageless Body Secret was to give something that's very doable, to create something that women could follow along with at home, that uses more of like a movement pattern type of idea that targets your largest muscle groups. So the idea behind that is we have like dead metabolisms as we get older. We are way more sedentary. We're not out playing and running around and agile and swift and flexible. And a lot of us have desk jobs now if we're still working. And if we're not still working, we are, not able to do what we wanted to do, what we used to do. So the premise behind my 7-minute Ageless Body Secret is it's movement patterns. It's intervals, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off of doing movements that your body should be able to do anyways, squatting down and standing up, pressing, pushing, all those things that mimic everyday life. So it maybe is tricky and hard in the beginning, but as you practice, just like anything, you'll get a little stronger, feel a little bit more confident. And even with the slightest bit of new muscle on your body, you're going to have a faster metabolism. So not having to count calories or worry about every single thing that you put in your mouth, that was my whole idea behind creating something. Since everyone couldn't be with me at my gym, I figured, all right, this is the age of the internet, right? How can I create something that women can follow along at home that are time crunched and maybe don't have equipment or stuff like that? But that's what my program's all about.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll put links in the bottom to talk about that. Kat, I know that you have a program that has that lucky number 7 and it's coming up.
I think I misintroduced you because I'm into my 7-day.
That's
and
okay.
Your program is a 7-minute.
That's okay.
But I want to tell the people something that I was very happy to talk to Dawn about this because I've been sort of guarding my knees, and I told her about the way I'm doing my lunges, and she was able to straighten me out because I know I'm leaning forward too much. And when you lunge, you're just going really up and down.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so great that you realize that. And It is funny because throughout the years in the gym, of course, before the pandemic, I had a massive clientele of women one-on-one that were between the ages of 50 and 87 years old. And if I had $1 for every woman that came in and said one of two things, either my doctor or my kids told me don't do squats and don't do lunges because you have bad knees, or be careful of what you do because you're going to hurt your back or you're going to hurt your knees. Wrong, wrong, wrong. The reason that our knees are weak in the first place is because we don't have any muscles supporting the tissue around our knees. So when you have weaker quads or the front of your legs, weaker glutes or buns, and weaker hamstrings, which is that area on the back of your legs, your knees take the brunt of it. Going up and down stairs, you hobble or you go on your toes and you grab onto a railing instead of driving your foot into the ground, pushing the ground away from you and kind of squeezing your glutes, squeezing your legs while you come up to a standing position. I mean, even right now, if you're sitting in a chair and your feet are planted on the floor, if you're going to get up to a standing position, think about this later, and you can rewind this and listen later. Plant your feet on the floor, elongate your spine, drive your heels into the ground as you come up to a standing position. don't lean forward because you're already pitched forward, and that's how people fall.
Yeah, it's the same with squats,
Exactly.
Some people I see, they stick their bum right out and they're kind of leaned over. It's like, yeah, no, that is not a squat.
You're never going to lean forward to sit down into a chair.
That's right.
Your rear end goes back. I always say, ground your feet and then hinge your hips back as if your butt's looking for the chair.
That's nice.
And
That's
then
nice. And put more weight in your heels than your toes.
100%. And you just said something, Kat, about maybe you should work out with shoes on. So here's the thing with shoes. Our shoes are so padded and so chunky and so clunky. We have no real connection to the ground. So if you're working out barefoot or on a mat or on a hardwood floor, that is going to give you such a sense of connection and balance. And there's actually, I did this fall prevention seminar with this gerontologist. I mean, whatever, this was years ago. One of the most interesting things was talking about the proprioceptors in your feet that transfer your balance from the bottom of your feet to your brain. So who says, working out's for dummies or those gym rats, it's like, no, we want a stronger, more cognitive, well-focused brain. I always talk about life as an obstacle course. So if you can have better sense of balance and better sense of awareness, that can also come from barefoot training.
Well, I go barefoot all the time because as soon as I get on my mat, that's what I'm used to, being barefoot.
That's great. What kind of stuff do you do on your mat? I know that your program is more about face yoga, but I'm sure you do other things too.
Well, I do all kinds of things, but the face yoga, I'm so sold on it. I know I might have explained this before, that I started this during the pandemic and I was just looking for something positive. Well, I bought a couple of these classes and I did them and it's like, whoa, I loved it. And then I eventually, got trained as a face yoga instructor.
So tell me a little bit about, I've watched a few of your videos, but explain the premise behind face yoga. Because when I think of my program, it's engaging muscles that have been laying dormant that you don't use anymore. Is there anything
exactly the same?
Okay.
And since I've always worked out and I've always known, that if you are working out, it's going to work.
Right.
There's nothing, if you do everything right in your workout, it works.
It's going to work.
That's right. That's right. You can count on it. And so the same thing happens with your face. And when we don't, you talk about that flat butt. Well, your face will just fall and hang because you're not working the muscles. We've got so many muscles in our face. I just happen to have this.
Oh, I love that.
Let's see. Look at this. We've got tons of muscles in our face. And if you don't do anything with them, it's just like the rest of your body.
And just like you and I spoke of before, how you see all these people with these downturned mouths that, what do they say? It takes so many more muscles to frown than it does to smile. And it's like, so yeah, that just sounds.
And when you're wearing a smile, it lifts everything up. It lifts your cheeks up.
Right.
And you can put, that, what do they call that? The standing bitch face. It's just how people, when they're not thinking about their expression, it falls into the expression that
is most normal for your lifestyle.
It's their default. Yeah.
Right. Their default. Oh my God, that's great. Yeah,
and it's not good. So I'm putting together my course and I was doing the intro to every day to my 7-day course. And one of them, I just say as an intro that we have a pose called the smile lifter. And I've got the cheek lifter and all those other things. But the smile lifter, they talk about putting the outside corners of your mouth up. Just always think of
smiling. Right.
That will lift your whole face.
So your course that's coming out, how would people find out about that? Are you going to talk about that in your newsletter?
I will send, I'm going to do a free kind of intro before I sell the course, so everybody can get a feel for it. And I'll announce that in my weekly newsletter. My newsletter comes out on a Thursday with everything that we have that week. We put new information on Third Age Mojo every week. And it's all about how to make the most of your third age. And I've got like the 6 columns of what we're doing, of how to make your third age strong. And of course, the first one is fitness. You have to be fit to do all of these other things. And mindset is right up there.
Right.
And most people, like you've explained, everybody thinks about the money for retirement.
Oh, right.
Well, you could have plenty of money, but if you are sick,
right. Your body is the bank. Your body is the bank that you have to keep adding something positive to build that foundation. That you want to talk about a return. I mean, if all you do is take money out of your bank and you're in the negative, so will the rest of your life be.
That's terrible. And one of the columns is for Third Age Mojo is adventure. We have to keep adventure in our life.
Right. 100%.
But if you're always thinking about your blood pressure and your blood sugar and you're 50 pounds overweight, you're not going to be thinking about a lot of adventure.
That's interesting. My father, unfortunately, passed last August, but he was no one even at his funeral that knew him his entire life, except for a very couple close friends, and knew that he was sick for 17 years. He had prostate cancer for 17 years, but my dad traveled. He traveled the world. He was an architect. He loved art. He loved live music. They danced. I mean, my dad went out at the very last month of his life on a walker. And the thing he said to us kids was, I don't listen to what the doctors say. I mean, he kind of did. I mean, because he had to with some things. He says, what I listen to is what's the next thing I have to look forward to. He always planned something to look forward to. I don't care if it was going to a restaurant that he had never been to, planning a vacation, that a couple vacations that my dad planned, he never made it to. But I'll be damned if he didn't still talk about he couldn't wait to go to Africa and go on a safari. I mean, and maybe part of that was in denial, but let me tell you, that denial kept his mind going. And it wasn't like he wasn't acting fake about any of it. He really started to believe the things. And I know that's why he lived so long being as sick as he was, because he didn't focus on the negative. He didn't focus on the, oh, woe is me and what's going to happen next and how will this end. He focused on where am I right now and where can I keep myself going. And it was an absolutely amazing thing to watch because it was very inspiring. And I wish that that's the way that people could end their lives. Really. I mean, it's, of course,
what a great example he set for you.
Right.
Isn't that great to hear that?
And of course, I cried the year up to that, wondering how it was going to end. But as it got closer and closer to my dad actual passing, he was so at peace. And we all realized that he had done everything possible to get the best and the most out of life that he possibly could, no matter what any doctor told him, no matter what numbers or blood work showed or what some stupid x-ray said. He was just going to power through it. And I know that a lot of people don't have that mental stamina, but think about that.
Well, you can build that, if not to your father's level.
Of course, right.
But they talk about this in the face yoga method is how I got trained. And they talk about that, like giving yourself to do something to do every day that you're going to show up for, like kind of makes you proud. Even like little things like starting your day with making your bed. Well, you've accomplished that one thing and you're going to go on to another accomplishment that day. And when you start to hold yourself to those things that you've committed to, just to yourself, you've committed to yourself, and then you start getting stronger and you feel prouder.
That's why it's so, don't you think it's so important that you do start the day with something positive? And that could be something different for anybody. I've read so many books that talk about wake up and make your bed because it's a simple task and a simple sense of accomplishment. Whether it be wake up and do 5 minutes of deep breathing, 10 minutes of face yoga, 7-minute Ageless Body Secret, whatever it is, starting your day on the right track perpetuates the right track more often. So does waking up and having a donut. Waking up and hitting snooze 15 times and then being angry because now you're late and you have to hurry, then you can't eat, then you go to work and that overwhelm, that's that perpetual downward spiral. And you kind of say, oh, screw it. I already ate a donut. Who cares? I'm just going to eat a burger and fries for lunch.
That's right.
And then you say, tomorrow I'll do better. Well, back to my dad. One last thing. So my dad had a boat called Someday Is Now. That was the name of my dad's boat. Not Monday, not next month, not next week. Someday is now. So even if you started your morning really crappy, whatever time it is where you are right now, do something when you get off this call that your future self will thank you for.
I love that. I love that idea. But you know what? This is what you and I are doing. I mean, because we seem to be this way sort of naturally, or we've developed this over the years, that
Right.
we are enthusiastic about doing good things and making every day the best it can be. And you learn from your dad to
Right,
suck the
right.
most out of life that you can.
Well, you know what? Like you said, whether we're like this naturally. I mean, hey, I know you've gone through some crappy times, and so have I. I mean, when people say, "Oh, well, you came from good genes," and "Oh, you're lucky because you're little." Well, yeah, I am very little. So if I gain 5 pounds, it's like anyone else gaining 15 pounds. So all those things that people make excuses of why other people have it easier or other people have it better. This is hard work, sister. I mean, it's
I
like,
know.
but I've conditioned, back to that conditioning. Do I have bad days? Oh, hell yeah, I do. And some days whatever, but I don't beat myself up over a day where I didn't eat a stellar diet or I didn't exercise. My norm is 80, maybe 85% of the time doing something that's healthy, that your future self will thank you for, all that kind of a lifestyle. That's the key, lifestyle. It's not like this week I'm trying to lose a certain amount of weight, or this week I'm going to try Kat's face program. No, you want to perpetuate a lifestyle of better things.
And you know, it's a lot of little steps. Like on the one intro that I wrote for one of the days in this 7-day program, I said, you could be doing lots of other things, but you committed yourself to showing up here, and here you are.
Yeah.
Good way to go. Let's keep it moving. And you know what? When I tell people that I don't stop working out, because it's so much harder to start a wheel when it's still than to keep a wheel rolling.
Oh, I love that one too. God, we got some good one-liners today. Right. And that's the thing too. My mom's 87, so now she's without my dad. And sometimes I go over there and she's got the news on in the background. And I'll say, Mom, turn off the news and put on some music, or put on the symphony, or put on. My parents went and saw Journey at 86 years old. It's like, yeah. I'm like, Mom. She goes, well, I'm not really listening to it. It's in the background. I go, it's that subliminal negative feedback.
Ooh.
I go, just turn it off and have fresh air or whatever. So it's like little things that people don't pay attention to that do bring them down. Your group of friends, do they empower you, or do you go out and have a bitch fest with your girlfriends about how their husbands are messy, or their kid doesn't listen? Or, I mean, of course you want each other's shoulder, but at the same time, who do you surround yourself with, and what do you surround yourself with? That's
the thoughts you bring into your brain. There are some days when I don't feel good, or things aren't going well, or I'm afraid of life. Sometimes people get scared, and I can slap myself out of it.
Yeah. And that, what, that's a learned ability. And I have a girl that I trained years ago, and every once in a while she comes back in for another, wellness coaching, talking about put Post-it notes of things that, we have that little inner chatter that's usually negative, or you can go down that negative rabbit hole. Put Post-it notes around in your car, or in your little vanity where you keep your makeup, that tells you something positive. I am capable of being happy today. Whatever.
Absolutely.
I'm capable of drinking 5 glasses of water. Whatever it is, something that makes you get now in the moment. I have choices. They're how I think first, and then how I act second. So, it is a learned behavior that becomes a habit, that becomes a lifestyle. And like you said, it's harder to stop doing those things than it is to really, really start. But don't take such a giant task that the task is overwhelming. Don't talk about losing 50 pounds or going to the gym every single day for a week.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's overwhelming. It's daunting.
It's like I've got a wedding in a month. I've got to lose 40 pounds.
Oh my gosh. Right.
Yeah. That's so unlikely.
No. I mean, right. It is. And then it's so unlikely, and it's so unrealistic that all that happens is that negative voice, or you do something for a day that is way too much, too fast, and too hard. And what do you focus on? What you're not allowed to have, and what you wish you could have, and your cheat meals, and so that negative chatter is the biggest focus of what I've tried to do with women that have come into my life. is repurposing and rephrasing and reframing how you think about what it feels like to be healthy, what it feels like to be energized, what it feels like to look good and eat healthy. Not that you obsess about it every minute and have to write down every calorie, count every step. I mean, but just that you're aware and mindful most of the time, you know.
You know, my therapist taught me about reframing, and that was huge for me, you know, and I want to take this moment to mention that therapy changed my life. And if anybody is thinking about in your third age that maybe makes you look weak, or maybe you're just not right, or therapy is very good, no matter how old you are.
Oh, 100%. And you have to find somebody, you know, I say I have a friend that's gone to the same therapist for 40 years. They vacation together, they hang out together. I'm like, that's not your therapist anymore. They have to have some work to do, or something that might be a little out of your comfort zone that really makes you look inward, but it gets fixed outwardly, whatever it is.
Yeah,
you know?
well, that was another thing I did in one of the intros, is get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Your comfort zone is a trap.
Oh my gosh, good word. It's a trap.
It is. And, you know, people, they start to think, oh, I can't do that, or I can't do that, or blah, blah, blah. You can do anything you set your mind to.
So that's funny too. I've done hair for 32 years, and I still only do hair 2 days a week and a couple Saturdays here and there. So obviously I have a big following of the same clientele I've seen for years. It is amazing how many women that are over 50 now, their kids are doing different things in their lives. Kids are getting married and everything. And they're like, those days are all behind me. Who cares? No one's looking at me anyways. And I'm just like, stop doing that negative. It doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter what I feel like. No one's paying attention to me anyways. Become visible to yourself, and in a powerful, empowering way. Do things that make you feel good about yourself, and stop that conversation about it doesn't matter anymore. It matters now more than ever, because the only person you have to take care of right now is you. Or someone else is going to have to take care of you, right?
I have a blog called The Cat Box that I write for, and it's like you never know what you're going to find in the cat box.
Oh my God.
But anyway, so I wrote about that. I wrote about sometimes when women are getting older, they're like, oh, I'm happy I don't have to wear makeup anymore.
Oh my God.
I really don't have to fuss with my hair anymore. It's like, no. You know, then there's that woman who will just fix herself up special, and her husband or her child or somebody will notice and say, you look great.
Right.
And then they feel great.
I was just going to say, then they feel great.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's what the bottom line is, though. And I know we've talked about that. It's what you feel like. And if you keep reiterating that it doesn't matter, and that those good days are behind you, I'll never be skinny, I'll never this, you know what? You're right. You won't. But do you want your next 30 years to be, if you think you got here fast, let me tell you, that next 5, 10, 15, you know how fast time goes now. It's going to go faster than you can ever imagine. So now is the time to invest in yourself. Back to that, retirement program for our body and our mind and how we feel. And of course, how we look. I mean, and I don't mean social media filters and, sparkles coming out of your butt. I'm talking about, real
I like
life.
sparkles coming out of my butt.
I know, right? I'm talking about, put a little effort into it. It's like, so what if you have to get up and put on a little concealer, a little mascara, and a little lipstick to go to the grocery store? It does matter, because it makes you proud of yourself. And, you run into those people that have that disclaimer. Oh my gosh, it's like, whatever. I really don't care. But that's just how they live their overall lives.
Well, the tagline for my Third Age Face yoga is take control of your aging face. But the whole thing is about take control of your aging.
Right.
Because you are aging, and it can go one way or the other.
Right.
And it's really in your control.
It really is. And that's what, you talked about I have a constantenergyfitness.com is my blog website. And if you like what we're talking about, and obviously we could talk forever like we usually do about everything, mindset, sleep quality, attractiveness, building muscle, face yoga, nutrition, exercise, how to eat, what to eat, not dieting. There's no dawn diet. So I have a free report that if you opt in and go to that constantenergyfitness.com, you can grab a 7-day, there it is again, 7-day free report, tips, tools, smoothie recipes, a couple of exercises, a few things. It's a 7-day thing, 7 days, whatever that seven thing
It's
is.
like 1 week. It's like you could do it for a week, 7 days. This is not your whole life. It's not a month. It's 7 days.
And can you pretty much guarantee, Kat, that if someone does something for 7 days, that is not some end all, have to like change your entire lifestyle, they're going to feel better at the end of it?
Absolutely.
Of course. So,
and they're going to think differently about their life. They're going to have a little bit different attitude.
Right. I think it's about, like you said, and I think we keep talking about, breaking it down into very doable little steps, not tasks and not to-do list. I mean, although I love a to-do. No, I don't love a to-do list. I love crossing off the things on my to-do list.
That's good.
But, however you look at it, whatever makes you get going, the time to get going is right now. Someday is now. Today's the day to get going. And I know that the next time that you and I get together, Kat, we can probably even do a deeper dive into some very specific things. I know we're kind of random today talking about all the things that we love, but it's still the same. It's still the same idea,
It's attitude. Attitude is everything.
It is.
So we're going to close this up now. And all the stuff we're referring to will be down in the bottom section. And I just reached 800 subscribers on my YouTube channel.
Fantastic. I need to up my game. I just reached about 2,500 followers on my newsletter blog that people find. Right.
Very nice. Well,
you learn more as you get older. You learn more, and now I have better ways of communicating things that people really need and that they can actually use. So that helps.
Well, I feel better now.
Same. I do too. Thanks for your tips and tools. I can't wait to get into your face yoga some more. Yep. And looking forward to speaking to you again, Kat. And I want to thank everybody that joined us today. Of course, we want you to like us. Who doesn't want to be liked? But we would like it better if you commented on what you took away today. What was the best tip or key or tool or phrase that we said today? And please share us if you think that this is something that your sisters or girlfriends or friends or moms would be interested. Please share us. And we hope to keep delivering great stuff to you.
Awesome. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.
See ya.